Life with Shine podcast. I'm super excited to really deliver this message today because it's something that I feel that will be beneficial to just our growth and our understanding of more about life and business and relationships, and just to talk to it from a very authentic place. Okay. So, today episode, we're going to be talking about uncoupling. Okay. And the reason that I feel called and pulled to speak about this topic is because I often look at the journey of transformation and the process overall. And I have this outlook on it that just makes me look at it from a place of like the cycles, right? And just our soul's growth and our evolution. And so, knowing that, there's a process to our development, it just has me look at things from a very detailed way. And so, I often say how we know how to get into relationships, but we're not often taught how to get out of them. Okay. And this is kind of what I want to speak to, that process just based off my own experiences, and to provide value and shed light on someone who just needs to know how to actually manage and get through this. Okay. So when it comes to uncoupling, okay, I will be very honest and say that, I'm just a relationship girl. I value being in a relationship because I understand the importance of it for my own evolution. And um, based off my past experiences with breakups, I've realized that I've done them, I would say, improperly. Okay. I didn't have the wisdom that I have now when it comes to the process of actually breaking up with someone, or um, uncoupling, because the reality of you having a relationship with someone is that there is a merging that happens on a soul level, and there's also a contractual agreement that you guys will be in each other's life for whatever lessons. We always know that someone's in your life for a reason and a season or a lifetime. And knowing the difference is very important. Okay. And so, in my relationships, I have broken up with people in ways that I felt were not properly done for soul's timing's sake. Okay. Now, I'm going to speak to this in kind of various ways, so just follow along with me. I'm going to get everything I need to get out, and just bear with me, okay? So, when it comes to breakups, right? Um, when you do breakups, sometimes it's like if you leave too soon or stay too long, you can create what we would call trauma or damage, or just some kind of lessons and experiences that may be challenging during that grieving process. Okay. And it's important that we understand that when you're breaking up with someone, or you're splitting with someone, or a thing, a relationship is no longer working, and it doesn't matter what kind of relationship this is, but for this sake, I'm going to say relationships, like intimate, partners and spouses or whatever. But just partnerships in general. Um, if it's not done properly, someone's liable to have more damage than they should have had. Okay, so leaving after staying too long is not always good because there is still a lot more that karma, I would say karma, that you can create by extending the agreements to play out more of the toxic environments, okay, the toxic experiences. So, what I found is that when two people can be mature about their relationship and where they are and what needs to take place for the best of both of them, then things can be handled in a very much more smoother way. Okay. And I have experienced breakups where they were mutual, right? We've had conversations and we agreed that, hey, we see that this is no longer working, and you know, due to just us outgrowing each other, we will just end it here. Now, this is the point where, in mutual agreement, you guys decide to part ways. And of course, this is like so many variations, but there may be situations where you can part ways quickly or over time. Okay, and this will be based off, of course, the circumstances of what each person needs, and how how it needs to happen for those individuals. But what I want to kind of dive into in this particular uh, conversation is about uncoupling in a healthy way, in a way that there's an acknowledgement of the multiple aspects of ourselves that we are already aware of. So this is about having a conscious dynamic, right? So let's say two conscious people get together and are aware spiritually of a lot of knowledge and information. And then in this conscious dynamic, we know, hey, we're going to play out scenarios and work through certain energies to clear out what we need to learn, right? So there, that could be a soul agreement, okay? And so for this particular relationship dynamic, these two people have an understanding that their souls have agreed to play out certain scenarios for their own evolution, but yet they're not going to live, I'm sorry, be together forever, right? It's not the lifetime partner. It's just, hey, this is someone that is going to be kind of like a catalyst to me actually evolving into that lifetime partner. Okay. And this is one of the reasons why I don't get into the uh, man and woman bashing conversations and things back and forth that I often see people um, have, because to me, when I see people speak against, just man or woman or whatever, what they're really saying is that I don't have the emotional intelligence to take responsibility for the relationships that I'm calling in, for me to actually learn the lessons I need to learn so that I can evolve into the highest version of myself. Okay? So that's what the purpose of relationships are, for you to evolve into the highest version of yourself. And when you're not taking accountability and responsibility for that, and you're blaming the partners you're choosing, or going into victimhood, then this is what's creating a lot of the drama that you see. Okay, this is how I see it from when people are bashing one another. It's just they've created these narratives and this storyline because they are still in victimhood. But when you are someone who's evolved out of those ways of thinking and who has a higher understanding of relationships and their true purpose, okay, then you can really see the value and the experiences that you've called in for your own personal growth and evolution. And so, even if things play out that may seem toxic, um, abusive, or just downright disrespectful, you still have, on a soul level, understanding that I called this in for a reason, and I get to take power, or kind of like, I get to empower myself by learning the lessons that I need to learn from it, right? And oftentimes that means you choosing a higher level of self-love, and you choosing yourself in some way that you have not been choosing yourself. Okay? And so when two people who are actually agreeing to choose themselves first, right? And not playing out codependency and people pleasing and victimhood and all that, like not creating that drama of like, even if those expressions are there, you're not caught up in that. You're someone who's saying, hey, I'm going to choose growth. I'm going to choose evolution. How can this expand me? How can this increase my discernment and my self awareness? Right? So, this is about owning your personal power and your sovereignty. So, when two people have that awareness of their higher selves and their ability to work together in a dynamic, in a soul agreement to play out something for a certain amount of time, this is when you can really see a proper way of uncoupling, okay? Because there is almost like this agreed timeline or deadline of just knowing, like, hey, things are going to naturally fall into place to where we're going to naturally split when it's healthy for us to do so. Because you have to remember, a relationship, there's a soul merging that takes place. And you want to be whole. If you're not in codependency, you should be two whole individuals. Okay? So you're playing out certain energies instead. You're bouncing off energies to play out scenarios so that you guys can keep ascending. Okay? Now, this is what it looks like to uncouple, because this is the purpose of this topic today. When you choose to uncouple by allowing the conversation and the communication to be had, right? And I'm speaking in a scenario where two people are sharing the same space, right? Where you guys, maybe live in the same household, okay? When uncoupling is done in a healthy way, you give each other space, you give each other time, okay, to kind of grieve, to kind of work through just those, I guess, emotions that needs to purge and clear and kind of set you free. When you see this process play out, you're like, okay, wow, there's a level of acceptance that comes, because of course you may already know that the relationship is not working and it's healthy for you,
and that it may, be just abusive or whatever, then you have to look at it from a place of like, this is going to take time, and I'm willing to take the time that I need, because only you can determine that for yourself, so that I can do this thing properly. And the reason why I'm speaking on this, because there have been instances where I've seen in my personal experience where I've tried to break away from people, and this is just not one scenario, but just in a couple that I can think of. But where I tried to, break up, even though we had the conversation, we agreed, we talked, and it was like there was still the energy, the attachment, the bond that was created on an energetic level that kept bringing the drama, bringing, the people back together to resolve what needed to be resolved. So it really wasn't like we was able to just get away from each other after one time. No, like that's a process. But when two people can agree that we're going to go through an uncoupling process, which means that I'm going to still kind of hold space for all these emotions to kind of be worked through to get to a place of acceptance, because you got to remember, this is grief. Okay? Uncoupling is grief. Okay? So you can't tell somebody how they need to grieve, and there's no set way of what grieving looks like. But when you understand that that's what's happening, and you give compassion, even if somebody, because we ain't even entertaining blame and victimhood. So it's not even about blaming. It's just you staying in this place of compassion and holding the truth of this dynamic. Okay? When you understand the uncoupling from a compassionate place and holding the truth of the dynamic, so that you can clear everything that needs to be cleared, so that you guys can kind of go like this, move away from each other smoothly. Okay? Because the universe is highly intelligent. Highly intelligent. If you try to break away too soon, before everything that needs to be resolved was resolved, the universe has a way to bring it all back together. So it's best to separate on an amicable timeline with a set time. And oftentimes this can look different for the different people. So let's say if it's the end of a lease agreement or something, right? Or just set some kind of time frame, and then allow that to be the time you give each other space to process in your own space, where you guys are like allowing it to naturally happen without force, with just pure acceptance. There is no bitterness, there is no hate, there is no blaming. It's just coming from a place of acceptance, because you will appreciate someone when they can give you that. But it takes two people willing to go through the uncoupling process. This is the level of maturity that I'm speaking to, that you must have when you go through a grief, right? Because if you look at it from that place, you can kind of see it a little bit more differently. You don't look at it from like, oh, they're mad at me, or oh, they things will happen in life, but how you deal with them, and how you view them, and how your perspective on them, that is what matters. Your perspective, how you view it, how you're doing things, is what is determining the outcome. But regardless, you still have to do the work. And this is why I tell people it's best to do it in a proper way if possible, because I'm being realistic, if possible. Because no matter what, you're going to go into the next relationship. And I tell people this all the time, and this is probably the most important part y'all need to get. So lean in with me. Lean in like this. Whatever you did not resolve from a previous relationship will pick up again in the next one. You will start out where you left in the last one, because that is the vibration and the energetic capacity that you hold. So there is no real way of getting around the work. There is no real way of avoiding the work. And this is what I mean when I say we have to get really, really comfortable and okay with committing to the work. Because regardless of who you're with and for however long, and this is where we see people fall into the loop. We don't see their evolution. We don't see their growth. They picking the same partner, just a new body, over and over and over again, because they don't have their own evolutionary process that they have, whether they're in a relationship or not. See, when you have your own evolutionary process, you're going to always grow. There is no, you're already doing the work with or without a partner. So it's nothing. It's nothing. It's like, okay, whatever. So more work I can, self actualize. I can transmute. I can work through. Right? You get excited. But when you have no evolutionary process, which means you're not working on your personal growth and development, and you're still trying to fill voids through other people, through codependency, looking for somebody to provide your needs, and instead of you trying to do it from a place where you're empowering yourself to give you what you need mentally, emotionally, right? Doing that spiritual work. Now you can literally see how you're no longer outsourcing your power, your happiness. So the point of this is to say you don't want to get caught up in the loop that I see most people playing out, which is why you see them in this state of consciousness, where they're picking the same people and then the same scenarios will happen over and over again because they're not actually learning the lesson. They're not taking it inward. They're not, meaning like they're not looking to see what's in me that my partner is actually revealing and mirroring for me to work through. See, that's accountability, right? See, when you have two people that's doing that work, it makes it easy. It makes it easier because now you understand that, hey, I don't have to take on your stuff. You don't have to take on mine. We work on our stuff, we work through it, and we go about our day. But when you're uncoupling, right, when there's an understanding that, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore, you don't want to be with me anymore, so there's an agreement there, and acceptance, and then now there's just time that's being countdown to the next phase. This is when you see the beauty of uncoupling, because now you can say, hey, we're literally going to leave this situation where we both won't have harm done. That's how it can be done. We can both leave this thing without any harm done. We can leave peacefully. We can both leave with, our everything intact, whether that's our finances, that's our mental, emotional health, and all those things. We can leave in a better way than when we started. This is when it's done right. This is when it's done right. You can leave in a better way than what you started because, again, the evolution, the growth, the process has happened. But it takes two people who are really doing their spiritual work for this to take place. And I'm speaking from that place because I don't think I've ever fully gifted myself an uncoupling process in this way until I've experienced it. And now I can speak on it. And now I can see clearly why even like a breakup before was so hard. It was because we didn't understand how to hold space for one another or to even give each other space to process through with the compassion. It just kept, it just took a lot to where it was like, okay, now we gotta block. You know what I'm saying? But still, the reality of that I learned was that I still, whatever I didn't finish and complete from that last relationship, I still had to end up facing in the next one. So what am I trying to say here, guys? I'm saying that it's best to actually accept that you are going to draw in partners based off the lessons you need from your subconscious mind. Okay? From your mind, from the energetics that you had hold in your energy, you're going to be a match for someone who has what you need to work through balancing yourself. Okay? This is where you start to this is where you start to understand the polarity work involved. Okay? This is the polarity work involved of the masculine and feminine principles. So, in order to bring harmony and balance to two people, they must understand their own masculine and feminine energies within themselves. Okay? So that's really the work. So when you hear people talk about masculinity and femininity, you get to a harmonious relationship by working through all the toxic ones. Those are the initiations. I don't get why people don't think that that's just not what it is, but it is. You got to go through those things. But once you have self-actualized, meaning you fully took accountability and responsibility for yourself, you're going to draw in a person who will be your forever partner. And your forever partner, and I'm not saying this have to be perfect and that you have to be fully, completely healed or anything, because y'all gonna come together and y'all gonna do some amazing work. You guys gonna do some, you're gonna be in y'all purpose and in y'all divine because y'all understand y'all divinity. Okay? So when you have a partner that you've called in because you have self-actualized and you guys are in y'all's divinity, you guys are gonna go and do y'all purpose work together and have a healthy relationship and live a harmonious life, blessed, abundant, highly favored. And everybody wants this for themselves, but we have to speak to the facts that this is a process. This is a journey. And I see that that's the journey that people don't have the patience for. That's the journey that I'm saying people are not really built for. But when you are built for it and when you are about that life, you can really reap the rewards. Okay? So we have to just accept responsibility for who we called in and who we chose. Because your divine partner is out there. Your divine partner is out there. But you have to work in yourself to be able to call them in. You have to understand your energetics. You have to understand this stuff. So whatever relationship you've been able to experience a healthy uncoupling due to maturity, give thanks because you know it's a beautiful thing. It's not always fun. I mean, but it's like when people when you get to the acceptance point, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. And time is ticking. The time is clocking. The time is running down. So learn what you need to learn. Close up what needs to be closed up, and move on. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. So for anybody who's feeling, I'm sorry, I'm gonna speak to the people I want to speak to. For the people who are hopeful, right? Who still have a desire in their soul for a healthy love and healthy expressions of love and being in a divine union, then you continuously to do the work on yourself and you will have it. It's already yours. It's already yours. So call it in, okay? And then accept what is, what needs to end, and let go and move forward. Give thanks for the lessons and give thanks for the blessings, okay? So that's what I want to kind of share and just touch on because, it's a thing that I feel like we don't really hear much about. We hear the anger, the aggression, the frustration, and the bitterness, and I think that's what most people are used to breakups being. But I feel like it don't have to be that way. And I think that's what I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to it doesn't have to end in bitterness. It doesn't have to end with all of those energies because you still are creating a energetic cord or connection to them. You're still holding on to them. But when you can let them go, you can move on freely. You can have access to your energy fully. You reclaim your energy back, and then you go on about your life, right? So I guess I just never really understood holding on anger and resentment and bitterness towards someone that I chose to do my soul work with. Like it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't because I chose them, and I thank them for the lessons because once you get past all of the lower thinkings, I guess you realize like, wow, they really taught me some lessons. Like I'm grateful, and you become a better person because of it. But I will say, bitterness, angerness, resentment, and holding on to the past and what they did and didn't do, like let these people go, set these people free. Like let them free so you can go and find your love of your life, and they can go find the love of their life. Like stop holding on to people. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the reality of it. And I think that's something that must be practiced. That's something that must be really and I think that happens from you just going through the other stuff that you just kind of be like, you know what, you don't have to be all that because I don't got time. Like, what's the point of you stressing yourself out about something that is not supposed to last forever? Okay. So it's no need, just compassion, acceptance, and love, because it's all love at the end of the day. I hope you guys found this information helpful. I would like to know y'all thoughts on this. You guys can leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in, and go out there and align with your divine lover. Okay? And have the most amazing time of your life. Love you. Bye. Till next time.